All right, Chat Arms TV, we are here with the infamous Jelly Roll.
Tout him.
The guy that helped me spearhead the Chat Arms TV when we had no idea what we were doing. We had a camera and we didn't even really know what YouTube was.
At all. You literally had to physically, I was telling this my story today, you had to physically go type in youtube.com on a desktop.
Yeah, for sure.
You couldn't do it on your phone. There wasn't Google in your phone. There wasn't an app yet. It was like you got home and just checked what was on YouTube.
Jelly was the first one that human being on planet Earth that I knew that had a touchscreen phone.
Me too.
I was so
excited about it, dude. I was like, I look back at that now and go, boy, what a way to date yourself. The 10-minute freestyle was bragging about a touchscreen phone.
Yeah.
And I look back at that now and go, who would have thought that they would all end up being touchscreens? It's like, who would have thought?
Because we were like, where do you put the buttons? And it was as big as that lamp.
Oh, dude, it was huge, man.
We thought it was so small.
Yeah. I remember when I had my sidekick, how cool I thought that was.
Yep. So we're here to basically just talk to Jelly, man. A lot of people have been asking for this series, so here we're going to just kind of get to know him better. Y'all already know him well, and he's about to go back out on tour, so he's got some new projects dropping, so we was wanting to catch up with him before that. So I guess we'll just start off, man. What got you into rapping? Like, what got you into music when you was a kid?
Have you ever had a pimple on your lip?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are they not the worst?
They're the worst ever.
I had one I had to pop yesterday, and I'm sitting here right now doing this with you going, I had a fucking herp on my lip. And fucking, I know inevitably a comment's going to be like, did anybody see the pus?
Zoom into 147 on the video, timestamp.
He's right there. Look at the pus on his fucking, the herpes. Dude, music was like a way to express. So I was personally in need of expression when I was younger, and I just found it through hip-hop. My brother played the Rude Awakening album, who I found out that the guy who was in the group, Chris Taylor, was like an uncle to me. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget that he said something along the lines of, don't quote me, but the 37211's the area code. No, 37211's the zip code, and my area code's down in the 615. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, that's my zip code. That's my area code. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is insane. Like, somebody from where I'm from is rapping. Yeah. That means I can rap. You know what I mean? Like, before that, it was like, it just made it real. And then
T-Shawn, right? You talking about T-Shawn?
Yeah, T-Shawn, absolutely. Yeah, Rude Awakening. You remember that? If you can hear me, help me, I'm falling down.
Yeah.
And he's probably tired of hearing this, but for 15 years now, I've been like, I should redo that song. He's always like, do it. And I should. But I think it made it kind of real. My brother Scott played it for me. It made me feel like, okay, this could be something. And then, you know, we started putting out. I met Bravo.
Yep.
And I met Lex, Top Dollar.
Yep.
And Mario Moore was in the group at the time with Top Dollar Boys. And I met them in high school. And I just remember being like, I had a little clique of rappers, me and a guy named Ricky. And we was like a group, and they was a group. And then we would all go to the Switchyard, which apparently you were just at, right? That's the studio.
Oh,
you
yeah,
were just at with CO Cakes.
In Antioch,
yeah, for sure. Right, yep. Chatty Bobby just looked at me like, you know when you say make a noise and your dog goes behind camera, like, y'all. Chatty Bobby went, and I was like, did we not just talk about this? Like, fucking.
And it totally is a Switchyard because there's mad switches in the backyard, so that makes this.
No, for sure.
Hence the name.
Yeah, it's the fucking Switchyard. So Mike was there, and he didn't do rap records. So, but he would record. He would engineer for us for like $25 an hour. So we'd get our $100 to go over there for an hour, for 4 hours, you know, or whatever, and record our little songs. And he'd give us a quick demo on a CD.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I just started making rap records, man. It was like it was kind of my thing, and it was really, really, really. When I look back at it, I couldn't have even imagined that it would be what it is today.
Oh man!
Like you were too young to even dream about this kind of shit then.
Yeah.
So it was just, you were just like being able to hear myself on a CD that I could get, dude. I like kept it on me. I brought it to everybody's car.
Oh yeah.
I made everybody listen to that CD. My first song, I'll never forget the first song I even recorded there by myself. It was over a Don Green beat. It was over a Lex Top Dollar beat. And I was like, cocking a big body down south, Optimals burning slow, staying smoked out. We in the Chevy 'cause I ride clean, wiping sticky off my dickies from the light green. And I just remember thinking that was like, because to me, I was rapping about my life. Like, I was in an old big car with one of my buddies, and I had dickies, and that's all I wore. And I always had weed stains on my dickies, and I was a little back then, Optimos was what we smoked. And, you know, I just remember feeling like this. I bought a Beretta. I had a Beretta when I was that age. I was like 15 or 16. I bought me a little Beretta gun. And I rapped about that sumbitch. Every other line in that song, dude, when I listen back to it, I just go, oh, not the Beretta again. Oh, there goes the Beretta again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck. That Beretta made so many guest appearances on that first song. It was
you did a joint album with it, huh?
Yeah. It was pretty much Jelly Roll featuring his Beretta. You know what I'm saying? It was such a big deal.
Was that before the Outer Limits freestyle and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I met Bobby and them before that, and through Bobby and my buddy Trey Harrington, who had kind of put everybody together to a degree, he had somehow developed a relationship with Haystack. And Haystack was a big deal. So I had met Haystack, and funny, D-Ray's here. We're at the studio, obviously. David Ray's here with me now. I met Haystack, David Ray, Lex, Alexander King, who still, all these guys are dear friends of mine this day, at Slamming the Jam and Car Show. I was out because me and you took over Slamming the Jam one time.
Oh yeah.
And
Mr. Controversy.
Yep. So we had I met them at the car show, and I know I'm bunny trailing here, but it was all kind of a build up to this. I was on a weekend pass from the Halfway House, and from the group home I was in, and the step down from this juvenile penitentiary I was at, and I was calling Trey, and I was like, yo man, I got a weekend off, let's go. My mama took me to the mall to get my hair cut. She bought me a button-down shirt. I remember I thought I was so clean. I had a nice, clean button-down.
Yeah.
I had a haircut. You know, I was ready to go meet Haystack and the rappers and see Bobby again for the first time in a long time. And I went out there and met all these guys. And I was like 16, 17 years old. And then I ended up back doing some more time. And I ended up going back in for that same case, and I had made bond as a juvenile. So I'm 17 years old. No, I was 15, 16 then. I'm back out at 17, and true story, strike me dead if I'm lying, Chatty Bobby. I am literally true story, Chatty. I'm sitting in juvenile. I'm getting transferred to be charged as an adult at 17 for a robbery case. Okay? Mm-hmm. I go over to the juvenile. They have a juvenile unit on the third floor of the Justice Center at the time, second or third floor. And it's all juveniles, and I knew some of the guys that got bound over. But I was so scared to go because I didn't know what was there or what it was going to be. And I remember calling my dad. I said, you can make one call on your way. Called my dad. I was like, they're fucking bounding me over. He was like, well, don't worry, son. It'll work itself out. And I was just distraught. And I'm sitting in the holding cell, and I get upstairs. And the first night I was there, I found out that I had a bond. I was like, somebody's going to make my bond. I think my dad will make my bond. I think somebody's going to come get me. And my dude who was there at the time, Linaldo, was there. And Naldo said, man, we get radios here on commissary. I know you stressed, man. You want my radio for tonight. I was like, yeah, man, can I please have it? He's like, yeah, dude, we didn't get radios in juvenile. You know, this was a big fucking deal. Yeah. And I put on this, and I'm not making this up, dude. Mouth of the South, Outer Limits, outer limits. Sunday night, freestyle, Mouth of the South, $1,000 cash prize to the winner of the freestyle battle, put on by Hired Guns Promotion. And I was like, I think that's Haystack and Eric McAnally's company. I was like, I think I can get into this. I called my dad the next morning. I was like, hey, I don't know if you're going to make my bond or not, but if you do, I got $1,000 back for you on Sunday. I'm just going to go to this place and win this $1,000 doing this freestyle contest. I was like so confident. And my dad, God rest his soul, believed in me so much. He said, yeah, son, I'm coming to get you. Don't worry, I'll be there. And you know what? You go do that Sunday. Sure enough, dude, I got on like a Thursday, called Bobby Bravo from Top Dollar and Lex and said, listen, does Haystack still manage y'all? He was like, yeah. I was like, listen, I need to get in the club. They said, well, the catch is a $1,000 prize, but it's a $250 entry fee. I was like, oh, shit, I don't have $250. And Bobby was like, all right, me and Stack will front it to you. Or whoever, somebody loaned me the money, you know? And I went in to the Outer Limits right then, that Sunday, and I won that motherfucker. Straight up went in there and won that $1,000, dude. And came home and told my dad, I was like, I won $1,000, man. Do you want it back for my bond? He's like, nope, just save it. I was like, I'm gonna go get a place, and I did.
Yeah.
And then I found out what I didn't know was it was an every Sunday thing. So every Sunday, I just pony up $250 and go win another $1,000.
Yeah.
And I did that until they retired me. I lost 1 week. I've lost one battle in my career of a rapper, and he's my friend to this day. His name is Kai Hill.
Oh yeah, I remember Kai Hill.
Yeah,
legend,
remember Kai Hill, legend.
He was downtown, like Second Avenue, legend of freestyle. Dude.
Legend.
Yeah.
You know he does the Broadway rapper thing now with the drum kit.
Oh, that's
He's
cool.
killing it.
Yeah.
But still a good friend of mine. We talk all the time. I love this dude. And he smoked me one night. And you know how he got me? He noticed that every time somebody would do something, I would do it. So like the guy in like if I was rapping or they were rapping and they would like get aggressive, I'd be in their face being aggressive. Or like I'd dance or I'd do just like goofy stuff, right? I was like, just distractive shit. So Kyle Hill, when he was rapping, he started jumping up and down. So when I got the microphone to start rapping, I started jumping up and down. And my fat ass ran out of breath.
Oh, yeah.
And he smoked me, dude. He also said some really good stuff. But
but he also had them head games. He played them head
yeah.
games.
He tricked me. He walked me right into it. But yep, that was my dog, man. That was it. So that was the Outer Limits story.
Okay. Oh, that's dope, man. I was always wondering how that worked.
It was all connected in this weird way, like from the Haystack story to the Bravo story to the it's all from the same kind of group and era came into that area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So you did that. So just setting up a timeline. After that, when exactly did you release Gambling on a White Boy Volume 1? Was that the first thing you ever put out?
Well, so after the freestyle battles, I had went back to jail. Because remember, I was on bond.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I had to settle the case out, and I had to cop a plea, and I ended up having to do some more time. When I was locked up, I come home, and I had met Jazz through the Outer Limits before I got locked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jazz Howard from Cross Tracks Entertainment had always told me, like, well, when you come home, I got you. And I remember I'd been to his studio a couple times before I got locked up. Juan had took me, Juwan, God rest his soul too. And I came straight home and just pulled up over there, dude. I'll never forget, Jazz had this studio in Joe Johnson, right in the middle of the projects, right across the street from the projects, but right in the middle of the neighborhood, right next to the Blue Corner store. And I'll never forget, I just pulled up over there. And I just showed up like I knew Jazz my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I'd been gone for like a year and a half. And I just popped up to his spot. I was like, yo, what's up, man? Remember me? I'm home. He's like, oh, what's up, man? Come on in. And just like immediately took me under his wing. And that's when we started working on Gambling on a White Boy Volume 1. While I was working on that project, I had met Struggle.
This is 03, 04?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is, yeah. Yeah, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Yeah, that makes a little sense. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because
Halfway House in 04, I think.
Yeah, because his son just turned 19 or 20, so I guess his son maybe it was like maybe it was 02 then.
Yeah.
So because I remember I babysat Brianna and his oldest son, Lil Will. So I remember Lil Will's still in a diaper. That's the best way to remember that. I have a funny story I'll tell you one day when he struggles with me. He tells better me of me changing his diaper. First diaper ever changed, disaster. But but yeah, so I met Struggle around that time. I already knew who Struggle was though, because when I was in jail, he had just left. So when I'm in there, they're like, yo, man, this white boy used to rap too. His name was such and such, from whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so when I came home, we had linked up through community corrections kind of, and just ended up just kind of immediately ended up connecting with each other. So yeah, that's how that worked out. So then I started working on Gambling on White Boy Volume 1. I'm trying to remember that. I haven't talked about this shit in so long. Yeah, I started working on Gambling on White Boy 1. I met Struggle. I had met Sunny Paradise through Haystack and Bobby and them at the time, way before that. So I was kind of studio whoring. My story back then was I was showing up to any studio I was welcome at. you know, and I tell kids this to this day, these dudes are just not like don't come to me like, I get offended at kids now. They're like, I've been putting a lot of time into this. Like, when? How much time have you really put into this? Like, dog, I woke up. You remember this, Bobby?
Yeah.
Chatty. I woke up and fucking went all day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, from the, dude, you could call me every 4 hours and I would be somewhere else where I thought there was something rapping happening.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so I would like go to Jazz's studio some few days a week. I'd go to Sonny's studio a few days a week. I just anywhere they wouldn't kick me out. And I was so blessed back then that everybody opened their doors to me. Mm-hmm. You know, I'd come see Reese with Felonious Records. So like wherever he had his studio set up that night, I'd go. Like I was just like everywhere I could go. You know.
Yeah.
And Sonny had came to me and said, "Hey man, what are you working on?" And I'd had a guy from my neighborhood that was trying to help me put out an album as well. His name, God rest his soul, was Chris Fentress, yeah. Biggie. And Sonny and them had came to me and said, you know, listen, we can put out this solo record on you. You can still do your mixtapes with Jazz. And I was like, well, I want to do this group album with Struggle. And he had found a guy from the Dope City Records at the time. Mm-hmm. That had came in and put some money up to invest in me and Struggle doing the Halfway House. So what's funny is Gambling on a White Boy came out, then the Halfway House came out, then the original Hate Goes On album came out. This is all between 03 and 06. Yep,
because I met you in 05, so that makes sense, yep.
Yep.
So that all happened around that time frame because we met you. You were outside of Cadence's birthday party or album release party, and I met you and Zach Crowell the same night.
Yep, true story.
Yep.
Yeah,
you know, outside. Yep,
I was outside of there, and then y'all had done, or y'all did some sort of a show at 3rd and Lindsley.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
And I popped up on y'all.
Yep.
Yeah, I popped up on your crew.
Yep.
And you were like, come out to Greenbrier and let's do this.
And you were making trips regularly. Exactly what he was saying about finding wherever music was at. He was not anywhere close to where I live at. And he was finding a way out there.
Yep.
And we were cutting records. That's where a lot of those songs that you see now, the old stuff, that's where all that was cut back then.
True story, yeah.
And that's when you put out, because I mean, we put out Volume 2 then, and like you were saying, and then 07, 08 hit, and I think that's when, is that when you got?
I had to go back.
You went back.
I made another kerfuffle with the law, and me and the Metro Police Department had a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And I had to go back to jail, and that was in 2007. And I had met Worm before that, and knew who Worm was, and we had connected, but we ended up bunkmates. Yeah. And that's how the story of Worm is told.
Yeah, because that makes sense, because I remember getting a call. I was at my grandparents' house and I got a call, and it was from jail, and I was like, "Who's in jail?" And it was you. It was right after you had gotten locked up, whenever that was, whatever time frame that was. So and then we were just doing it was when MySpace was popping, man.
Yeah,
we were doing the MySpace stuff, and then you got out at the end of 08, right?
Yeah,
because that's when you came and we started doing the
08, 2009. Yep.
Yeah. And that's when the whole house arrest stuff started.
So I was gone from early 07 to late 08 or something like that, or mid 07, mid early 07 to 08, late 08.
Yeah, and that's when we started cutting. That's when we started cutting, doing the house arrest stuff, and you started cutting Volume 3.
Yep.
And then from there, do you want to talk about, like, you said you and Worm were bunkmates? Is that, you said you knew him before?
Well, I had met Worm outside of a bar on 2nd Avenue that Alexander King was doing some sort of an open mic thing at. He was running this thing at BB King's or something. It might have been at Dream, but it was one of them clubs right there on 2nd Avenue. And I had fell in, you know. Mm-hmm. I'd also was really plugged in the clubs because the guy who first really tried to help manage me when I was doing the Outer Limits was Eric McAnally's partner at the Outer Limits. His name was JoJo. Mm-hmm. JoJo Herbert, and JoJo would always take me to the clubs and stuff. So I was like constantly in the clubs. I was constantly fucking with people in the clubs. So I was out there. Alexander King had met him. You know, when I met him as a juvenile, he let me into Mr. V's, the after hour spot. Mm-hmm. So I was like 15 years old in the after hours of Alexander King, just getting loaded. But we would, I showed up to one of his events, and I think I freestyled and won some money or something, and I was leaving. I was passing out mixtapes. Struggle was passing out mixtapes, and Worm had just got out of jail again. So we had all connected right there in front of BB King's one night, right? And then that's the night that I told Struggle, hey, man, meet me at Jazz's spot the next day. And he came to Jazz's studio, Struggle did.
Oh, okay.
And played me a song called I Ain't Biting with him and White Boy Slim.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is a hit. I was like, I need on this. This song is incredible.
Yep.
And we did it. And that was the beginning of that story really manifesting out.
That's great. And then, and you brought, fast forward to 09, obviously it's on the Chat Arms TV, but that's when you brought Worm over to the studio.
Yep.
And that's when all that started. So
yeah, exactly. When we started doing the day in the life of Worm and Jellies, they were so fucking funny. Remember we both lived in that place the Men of Valor had, that apartment that they were letting us use.
Off Hard? Was it Hard?
Yeah, it was like a halfway house, but it wasn't. They had apartments that they let people live in right off Hard, me and Worm.
Yep.
We were roomies.
Yeah, man.
Bunk mates again. We was bunk mates again, man. fucking old Jelly and Worm show. Yeah. Back broke. fucking bunking it up.
Yeah. And then I guess we're taking that time frame. That's when you did after Volume 3, you dropped Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
Right, which was a super still one of my favorite, like, of your older stuff.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to talk about, I guess, after that, like when you started to maybe kind of change up your sound a little bit? Like, was that like Big South Story? Is that kind of when that started, you think?
Well,
or was it after that? When you kind of started just kind of branching out, you know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think about,
because I know you did mid-grade.
No, for sure. I remember that time, but I feel like I'm skipping. I'm trying to remember the timeline period that fell in whenever I was messing with my boy Steve Matherly and all my dudes in Chattanooga, because they had a big thing going, and that's when we had dropped the collection.
So I guess we're taking that time frame. That's when you did after Volume 3, you dropped Deal or No Deal.
Yeah. Right,
which was a super still one of my favorite, like, of your older stuff. Yeah. And then, do you want to talk about, I guess, after that, like when you started to maybe kind of change up your sound a little bit? Like, was that like Big South Story? Is that kind of when that started, you think?
Well,
or was it after that? When you kind of started just kind of branching out, you know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think about,
because I know you did mid-grade.
No, for sure. I remember that time, but I feel like I'm skipping. I'm trying to remember the timeline period that fell in whenever I was messing with my boy Steve Matherly and all my dudes in Chattanooga, because they had a big thing going, and that's when we had dropped the collection. We're missing here is whenever I came home the next time, for the second time, and started working on, I hooked up with White and did Pop Another Pill.
Yeah.
What mixtape did that fall on?
That Pop Another Pill was on, that was on Deal or No Deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the beginning for me of, like, really owning the space of who we were. That was Trap House. That was fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it was totally, that was that era. So that's
when you was doing, y'all had the studio at Black Fly.
Yes.
The Black with Charlie and them.
Exactly, for
that's
sure.
when all that was getting cut.
Because around that era I was messing with Steve and them really tough up in Chattanooga, man. I love them guys. They did so much for me. I hate to talk about my history as a musician and not bring them up, but they did so much for the whole scene of Tennessee back then. They were just so unity minded that Steve had helped me put together the collection, and we passed out like 5,000 of them down on fucking spring break. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But me and White had hooked up and did Pop Another Pill, and that was the beginning of the White music era that led to me, White introducing me to 3-6 Mafia, and me and Juicy J and DJ Paul building a relationship that I still have with them to this day.
Yeah, because you did that.
It's funny when you recap the story, man. I hope somebody's inspired by all this, of like there was so many little things that happened that were really big things.
Yeah.
You know, but they, like, when you look back, they were huge things at the time, but when you look back, they were little things that just added up, and they were rungs of the ladder, and every step really meant something special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, when you were going through all that, it was just what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, looking back on it, you're like, you can pinpoint kind of what it was.
Right.
So, because that's when you started doing that, and you started doing the therapeutic musics, which were always dope projects too. like when you start doing the music with the meaning kind of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you were doing all that stuff. And
The therapeutic musics, man, they have a funny story. We would end up, I think me and High Roller did the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have so many sad songs. For every up-tempo song I would have, there would be 10 sad songs. So we finally ended up in a place where I was like, what are we going to do with these sad songs? They're not bad. You know what I mean? I was like, they're really good, but they're just so slow. And you know, and I was like, why don't we just put them on one CD and call it therapeutic music? And that was the beginning of what I created my entire career around, was making honest, real music. Because I had a moment later in my career that you talk about the sound changing after that, where I was like, dude, let's just make the kind of music we want. Who cares the speed of it? Yeah. And that was a big moment for me in my career, man. That was a huge moment where it was like tempo didn't matter all of a sudden no more. Where I used to feel like you had to have 10 party tracks and 2 sad tracks.
Yep.
You know? Then I just stopped taking that mentality, and that was a changing point for me.
For sure. I mean, because that's definitely when the people started seeing that side of you too, instead of just the stuff that you were doing on like the Gambling on the White Boys, which you had songs like that on there.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a whole project of it, but those did really well. I remember that was back when it was Dat Piff, when he was booming on Dat Piff.
Booming, dude. I mean, you got to think this was the beginning of like. Think about songs that I remember. Riding All Alone being one of the first ones that I was like,
yep.
All right, people are receptive of me making this kind of music. And then fast forward to when I came home again the next time, it was Man in the Mirror.
Yep.
You know, it was those kind of records that I felt like really kind of started building that part of the Jelly Roll catalog, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Because those are some of your most popular ones from the older stuff, like those style songs.
Right.
And obviously that's, you know, your music now has touched so many people, and it's a lot of it is that style of music. It's just the therapeutic music like you were talking about. And then I know that you did, was it what did you drop after you dropped Big Sal? And I know you did the Whiskey, Weed and Women and all that, and you did some mixtapes.
Well, you won't believe this, but I have something here, and I might not be able to find it, by the way. But I used to have a note in my phone. I'm wondering whenever I changed whatever notes earlier that I might have lost this. But I used to have this thing where it was like, there it is. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't in the right order because I later went back and remembered stuff I forgot. The Street Flavor mixtape, which was one of my first times being retail, me, Charlie P, and Haystack, right? Which was an incredible thing. Gambling on the White Boy 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Therapeutic Music 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The Halfway House, the Hate Goes On album. No Filter 1, No Filter 2. Strictly Business, Business as Usual. The Big Sal Story, The Biggest Loser, Whiskey, Weed, and Waffle House, Sobriety Sucks, Addiction Kills, Waylon and Willie 1, 2, 3, and 4, Whiskey Sessions 1 and 2, Goodnight Nashville, Crosses and Crossroads, The White Trash Tales, Dat Piff, Mid-Grade Miracle, Dat Piff, A Beautiful Disaster, which was an album I just released, The Collection, 11 on the Come Out, and Self-Medicated.
Yep, I was going to say, yeah, I was keeping up. I was like, 11 on the Come Out, but you got it, yep.
That was in 2011.
Yep.
We dropped it New Year's Day.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That. And I remember going back to therapeutic music, I remember on one of your freestyles at the end, you was like, I'm talking about 20,000 downloads, and that was like a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Back then, you know what I mean? And to look back on that, it's just like, I mean, you do that in an hour now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But back then, that was everything. It
was a huge, especially for the internet where it was. This was 10 years ago.
Yeah. Because
11 on the Come Out was literally 10 years ago and some change now, 10 and a half years ago. But I wrote those down because I have to remind myself sometime how much work went into this.
For sure, man. And that's just the projects. That's not counting the shows and the hours of time in the studio.
The years sleeping in vans. That was just the amount of times I was willing to put my name on something and try to put it out for the world to criticize.
Yep.
You know, because that's all that was happening back then. You were just getting picked apart. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, just, you know, yeah, there was a lot of projects in there. I think that, I I remember that where I was at in my life for all of them. I remember finishing Mr. Controversy in Bobby's basement. He had that studio downstairs.
Yep.
You just interviewed Big Lazy. That's how Big Lazy came over there and cut that.
Oh, yeah, I did 3 on there. My People.
Yeah.
No More Games.
Yeah.
And Singing My Song. Yep.
Yep. Nope. Sure enough. I should go back and dig through the crates and redo all that.
Dude, I think You're Gambling on a White Boy Volume 1 is the most sought after thing on the internet. Nobody has it. I've never had it.
Right.
And I don't know of any. That's what everybody keeps. I get that question.
Oh, Gambling on a White Boy 1?
Yeah, bro.
You know I rapped over the Mario beat.
Did you really?
It's Mario. Jelly Roll like Super Mario. I was rapping all over that shit.
So you think, when do you think that it took you started to feel like something's, because for the longest you were popping, but when do you think it took that turn around the curve where you were like, okay, this is about to be,
when it went from being local to feeling like it was something?
Yeah.
Not that local's bad, but like a lot of those mixtapes were just like local, local legend. They were like local myth.
Yeah.
The first thing that happened was Waffle House sued me.
Yep.
Which was huge. I mean, we got so much publicity. I ended up on fucking Jimmy Fallon talking about me. Like, that was huge. It was insane that Waffle House fucking had sued me, you know?
Of all people to
Of
sue
all
you.
people, dude. It's fucking my favorite. I went and ate there the other night drunk. I might go again tonight. Like, fucking love Waffle House, man. I don't hold no grudges. I love it. But I think that was like the world kind of staring at me, because me and White were playing the Gathering of the Juggalos by then, and we're like at least getting an underground name,
Yeah.
So it was like starting to kind of build its own thing slowly but surely. And it made a lot of people take interest in what we were doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was kind of what led into the whiskey sessions. And coming back from that time I spent in LA doing the whiskey sessions kind of led me back to being like, to my roots of like pain music, of being like, man, I want to get back to making therapeutic music, which is when me and Stoner started working on No Filter 2 and started working on Therapeutic Music 5. And I remember when me and Stoner were doing those, going, man, this is different. This is different. And then we recorded Addiction Kills. And for me, that was the turning point. Like, that is when it was like, hold on, this is like, Demons from No Filter 2. I had a couple of songs sprinkled in that were doing well.
Yeah.
But I just remember that being the point of like, no, this could potentially really end up being something.
I think Killing Me is probably my favorite song you ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Was that on Sobriety Sucks?
Yeah. That was all in that same era.
Yeah. That one is, when people ask me, like, you're the first one that comes, there's so many, but that's something about that one, man.
Yeah, no, to me it was like, those were the turning points. Smoking Section on Therapeutic Music 5,
yeah. Killing
Me on that one. They were just like I said, everything mattered. If you really look back at it, I couldn't have done it without any of them. Like, I go all the way back to I've been told they want to roll. I guess it's because they know that we got next. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, all that stuff to me was like,
That's when I started to feel like you were really getting momentum. Obviously, with the stuff you did with White and Stack and all that was awesome, and you were getting momentum with that. But when you started doing that one, that music video, when you started doing that stuff,
yeah, I
was like, something. Was that 15?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I was like, and then you did The Hate Goes On. You redid that one, or you recut that song, and then that's when it felt like it was.
Yeah, that was Addiction Kills. To me, that was like, all right, this shit's finna go somewhere.
Yeah, and now we're.
Yeah, and we had dropped Waylon and Willie 1 and 2 right around the same, the next year after.
Yeah, I was booming them out. Yeah,
and they were like, dude, Glitter.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the impact, like feeling like Glitter was going to be special. Cowboys, and then fucking Fall in the Fall.
Oh, bro, that was like 60 million views on YouTube.
Yeah, for me, that was whenever it was like, oh no, this is like really fixing to like do something crazy.
Was that something you and Struggle always, did y'all always say, obviously, we're going to do music together? Did y'all ever think about doing those projects? Or did that just kind of come out of nowhere? Or was that something y'all had been planning on doing?
Well,
the Waylon and Willie stuff.
I think that we'd always, because of the Halfway House.
Well, yeah, of course.
We'd always wanted to work with each other. He was on all my projects. I was on all of his. And we were always trying to find a way to work. And when he came home, I was like, well, this is the most obvious thing we can do. Like, let's just do a record together. And originally we were going to call it Charge Partners, because that's what we used to always say.
Yep.
And then just like one day, I think I was smoking a joint and he was having a drink, and I was like, one of us, I don't even want to take credit, somebody was like, Waylon and Willie. I was like, fuck, let's do it, dog.
Yeah. And
there it went. Now it's its own
4
thing.
albums deep.
Yeah, for sure. Now it's its own thing. So.
Oh yeah, man. You want to talk about how Save Me happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking about Save Me, that was probably the next, like, after the Waylon and Willie stuff, Same Asshole from Crosses and Crossroads was like kind of like my coming out party again by myself, and without struggle. I mean, like, not like, like after doing 3 Waylon and Willies back to back, it was like, all right, this is my first offering. It's just Jelly Roll.
Because you took a minute from doing solo stuff because y'all were doing the group stuff.
I just focused on that. Yep. Yeah. I had like a good 16, 17 month stretch where I didn't release nothing but Waylon and Willies.
Yep.
But I remember thinking, like, this is going to have a huge cultural impact, right? I think Same Asshole was like a big moment, like, in turning for me and that stuff. Like, I remember Same Asshole was the first song I dropped that I was like, this could be Fall in the Fall big.
Oh yeah. And
then I started working on A Beautiful Disaster, and I knew at that moment that I had something special. Like, I remember when I went to the studio and me and D-Ray were working on the record, who's producing it and shit, and we did Bottle and Mary Jane, and I wrote I Need You. And I'll never forget, I called my wife drunk and sung her I Need You over the phone. I had a little house that I used to record at, and I'd go to this little house and it was just a studio there, and it was just me one night, and I was in there plastered drunk. And I called the wife and said, listen to this right now. And I just played the beat and sat the phone down and sang it to her. Close my eyes and I pray, 'cause I feel the sky's falling on me. She was like, that is sick. I was like, that's going to be the vibe of this album. Like, I knew it right then. Like, I felt it. I was like, this is the first song I wrote for the album. Like, it's going to be the vibe. Then we did Bottle and Mary Jane and Life and fucking all that crazy shit. And then I cut Creature.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I was like, nah, man. This record, like, I knew at that moment this whole album's special. It was the first time that I ever cut songs off an album. Well, that I had, like, normally I just, like, I had like 20 songs, and I was like, no, just these 12.
Yep.
Like.
Yeah, because before it was just put them on, whenever we get done, just throw them
put
on
everything you recorded. And I was like, no, we need to keep it specific to this,
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to be special. And I felt so inspired by it that COVID came out as soon as we started dropping the records.
Yeah.
I say COVID came out like it was an album. Like, and then COVID dropped.
COVID came out! When COVID dropped, when COVID-19 dropped, shook the world.
And that COVID album dropped, but fucked everything up for everybody. And I called, we went in and did the live versions of everything in, like, April, when I did, like, all that live shit. That was like when COVID was fresh, and we were leaving there, and it was May. And I called my manager, Matt Wallace, and I said, look, man, find a studio. He was like, what? I was like, find a studio, Bubba. Like, right now, like, find somewhere I can just go sit and write every day. I'm tired of the house.
Yeah.
And then everybody's being weird because of COVID. I said, find a place. And, I'm finna blow your mind with this. You ready? He found, and I don't want to say the name of it because I'm going to be here for like 2 months. He found the place we're sitting in right now. And where I'm sitting is exactly where D-Ray was sitting when we shot the video for Save Me. He was sitting right here, and right where your old lady is standing is right where I was standing when we shot the video for Save Me.
Oh, this was here. Okay.
Yeah, it just fucked you up, didn't it?
It did blow my
full
mind,
circle,
bro.
right?
Yeah.
If you look around and look up now and see the lights and stuff, full circle. This is where we recorded it. We wrote it right here, recorded it right here, and shot it right here. You want to hear something even crazier?
Yeah.
It was a year ago yesterday.
Oh, wow.
We wrote, recorded it, and shot it right here 1 year ago yesterday.
And it's made that much of an impact in a year's time, bro.
Over 100 million streams.
And when you told me, what's crazy is that you were telling me, like, on the phone one night, that you didn't even think people were gonna like it. You were scared to death about it, like you didn't know what Is it just because it was all singing?
Yeah, it was just, and it was raw. It was just an acoustic guitar. Like
Yeah.
after, because we write a lot of songs on guitar and then build beats around them.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like when we were done, and I always cut the vocal to just the guitar. So many of my songs, you'd be surprised. I just cut a vocal to a guitar, and then a beat was built, and I was like, I don't think this needs a beat. I just remember clearly thinking to myself, this don't need a beat. So it needs to be raw and real like this. And they were like, we should stack the chorus or we should do gang vocals. And I was like, nah, man. Like, it needs to be raw. It needs to be one vocal. Maybe stack the you know, the ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like let's make
yeah.
that big. But, like, the verses, like, I want them stripped raw like that. And we listened to it 30 times and they're back to back. I've never had a song like that where I was like, play it again. Play it again. Then I sent it to my wife and she was like, this is the biggest song you've ever cut to date. Then I had some guys come over that were working on my truck at the time. They dropped my truck off for Father's Day or whatever. And then they came in and I played it for them and they were like, dude, they left and texted me like, can you send me that? And I was like, I'm telling y'all, this is special. I got, I'll say her name. I hope people don't catch this. Juanita, the lady who manages this spot.
Mm-hmm.
I called her and was like, Juanita, I know you hear a lot of music in here every day. You've been managing this place for years. Listen to this. She was like, emotional. She was like, this is so incredible.
Yeah.
I fucking seen my country music buddy out there and I was like, yo man, because you know this studio's pretty big studios, people working in all these rooms. And I was just like, I was literally just like waiting on people to walk by this room so I could be like, hey, I know you don't know me, can I play you something?
Yeah.
And I was just playing it for everybody. Was like, it's crazy. And I was like, I don't know how people are going to receive it though. So I just put it out like, fuck it, let's just see. And then, whew,
Yeah, man.
just insane, man. I watched 7,000 people sing it at a festival the other day.
Oh,
and just cried.
I teared up when I saw your Facebook video when you was you didn't even have to sing it.
No,
Because that's the crazy thing. Because when you cut it last year, there was no touring.
no.
Because the COVID album come out.
Yeah. Yeah, because COVID dropped on us and fucked everything up.
She shut the game down.
Fucking most unwanted release ever.
Yeah, like it's crazy, man, that got to what it was. And that's what's so dope is that you were, and I get why you were, because you weren't used to doing that. It was something out of your comfort zone. But when you started hearing everybody saying how dope it was, just to see where it's at now, man, that's
Right.
That's
Well,
awesome.
1 year later, I came back to this studio for that reason.
Yeah.
1 year later, I was like, all right. Because we also cut Waylon and Willie 4 here and the entire Self-Medicated album here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to go back there and work. And my
Yeah,
manager, I called Matt again. I was like, set it up. That's where I want to go work at. So you're actually catching me on day one.
Heck yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
dope.
It's day one now. So you're welcome to. I'd love for you to come back in a few days and listen to what we've got so far. Because we already wrote one today that I think is,
Beast.
man, I love it.
So you're about to. You want to tell them about what you've got that you're going to be dropping this year? Are you dropping a project this year?
Well, I'm dropping. I hope to drop 3 in the next 12 months.
Okay.
So maybe not all 2021, but like within
In the next calendar year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the next calendar year. So 1 year from the date you drop this.
Yeah.
I plan on doing I got an album that's kind of got a rock feel to it. I played you that record. You're on a couple of the videos. They're
Oh
crazy.
yeah,
by the
yeah.
way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's coming. It's really coming out. We're finna start dropping music from that like really soon. And I've got a rap record that's. I came back to Stoner. Me and Stoner reconnected, and me and Stoner are working on an album. And it's fire.
Oh, that's dope. Bro.
It is
I'm
so.
excited to
It's
hear
so
that one.
nostalgic of like old Jelly Roll. It just makes me fucking go nuts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I've got a more like vibey, southern rock, country, acoustic trap, soul, emo record. If that
So it's
makes
kind of
sense.
like a mix of all of what
Everything
you
I do. Yeah.
do.
So
That's dope.
that's the goal. Is look, man. I just want to put out different kind. I just want to put out music, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I've learned through Save Me that I can be myself and people still love me.
Yeah.
And that's cool. So it's like I just want to put out some good stuff. The next song I'm dropping is really up tempo. You know, it's a real.
Oh, is it role model?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna call it the cocaine song.
Yes.
That's what I want to call it. I want to
Dude.
call it the cocaine song.
I'm betting on some arm wrestling. in
Yeah,
that
I'm
video.
telling you. Yeah, you are, dude. I won't spoil who won or lost. I'll show you a clip, by the way.
Yeah, that day too. You said something to me that really stuck with me because so many people that are on Chat Arms TV is used to you from back in the day, and everybody likes the old stuff, and I like both, but like people stick to the old stuff. But you said something to me when you said, I can do this when I'm 60.
Yeah.
I can't do Welcome to the Trap House when I'm 60.
I already don't do Welcome to the Trap House anymore. But, you know, it's like, it's like, I want to make timeless music, man.
Yeah.
You know, like, Trap House isn't timeless.
Yeah.
Riding All Alone is.
Yeah.
But Trap House isn't.
Right.
So it's like, for me, it's also like, you know, dude, that's just a coming of age, man. I'm not that. My favorite thing is when somebody says, Jelly Roll, you changed. Like, you think I worked this hard to stay the fucking same?
Yeah.
Like, was that your wish for me?
Right.
Is that I would always be that fucking kid that was fucking selling cocaine out of a Cadillac and fucking writing songs about it my whole life? Was that your wish that I would have never got off Bell Road? Was that your hope for me? Like, oh, you fucking changed. Like, I'm supposed to be fucking offended by that?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be more offended if you would have had the audacity to tell me you didn't change.
Right.
That would have hurt my feelings way
like,
more.
Dang. Yeah.
Damn, you're right. I haven't evolved at all. I've been fucking just sitting here alone with you. You said we met in what? Was it 05 is what you said?
05, yep.
16 fucking years ago?
Yep. It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? 16 fucking years ago? Like, fuck yeah, I changed in 16 years, dude. Like a fucking lot. And guess what? I'll be back on Chat Arms TV for the next 16 years, and I plan on doing a lot more fucking changing.
Yeah.
And I don't think my changing has begun yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, I think, y'all think I've changed. I ain't even get close to changing. I hope I'm like Jay-Z in 16 years and fucking wearing fucking linen fucking suits and shit and fucking running around here with fucking John Lennon sunglasses sitting courtside at fucking Nets games. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like, you know, the goal is to always evolve. Like, man, I want to change. Dude, I hope tomorrow I'm a little nicer, a little sweeter, a little more loving, and a little more caring than I was today.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's my goal just for the next fucking 24 hours. I hope to change a little bit.
Yeah.
But people who really know me, the core of who Jason DeFord is, I haven't changed at all, dog. Yeah. You're a great example of that. You're talking about like changing the core of a human? Dog, you literally text me today, just like we were kids again, 16 years ago, same answer. Cool. Yep. This is the address. Come on.
Yep.
I'm here.
Yep.
Like, it's not like nothing is fucking, you know, like, stop that shit. Yeah, of course the music's changed. I'm a fucking full-grown man now that knows how to play a couple instruments and can sing.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all going to do whenever I start John Legending around this motherfucker? When I really figure out the piano, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Right? What are you going to do when I just walk up to a piano and just start, we're just ordinary people? You know, what, are you going to hate on me? That fucking talented fuck him, he changed. Like, golly, yeah, fuck, I evolved. I got better.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't get worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, golly, dude.
Well, the thing is, too, it's not like, the people that say that trip me out because it's like, it's not like they can't go back and listen to that whenever they want. You know what I'm saying?
It's available, most of it.
Yeah, so like you can still listen to that, but I wanted you to be able to vocalize that because that was a dope ass thing that you said, and it made so much sense when you told me that.
Yeah,
because I got it already, but when you said that, it was like that makes it
like,
so
dude,
much easier.
I want to be out here singing songs for people when I'm 60, man. You know, I want to be James Taylor. I want to sit down with the guitar by myself and fucking just sing you songs.
Another thing I wanted to say, we could wrap it up after this if you want, but you're starting to get into stand-up comedy, ain't you, Bubba?
I love stand-up comedy, man.
Yeah, man.
I think I'm a funny feller.
Yeah, you definitely are.
No, dude, I just love, I think that we have been given a gift to help people through the power of entertainment, whether it's making people smile, making people cry, or making people laugh, and the music is one variant of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that, you know, we're in a space in life where we need cheer. We need people to express all sides of it. And comedy's always been that thing for me. Like, I love comedy. I love watching comedy. I love participating in it. I love that Josh Wolf's been bringing me out. He's been a bucket of fun to work with.
Oh, he's great.
I love some of these relationships I've gathered in the comedy world. Theo Vaughn and Shab, who pretty much hooked me up with everybody. He's just a fucking absolute sweetheart. You know, Chris Porter, Steve Byrne, Brian Callen, just fucking great dudes, man. That just...
You and Schultz cut a banging ass song?
Dude, Andrew Schultz is the GOAT.
Yeah.
The king of crowd work, I tell you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like I've just been so lucky and blessed that, you know, for me, it's just like making dreams come true too, man. I love getting involved in things I'm already passionate about.
Right.
So it's like, I love comedy, so why wouldn't I get involved in it? You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm not necessarily doing it, like, why wouldn't I? You know, like when Scholes calls me to do that song, like, I'm a huge Andrew Scholes fan. Like, fuck yeah, Scholes, I'll do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Josh Wolf calls, like, you want to sing some funny songs on stage? I'm like, dude, absolutely. It's like how I just set up a game streaming channel.
Absolutely, yep.
I love playing a couple of video games. I love getting on there with some of my tour guys and some of my friends I met over the gaming world, and I love doing that shit. So it's like, why wouldn't I stream it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, find things you love and do them.
Plus, it gives you a chance to interact with fans that you wouldn't normally get to interact with through the game and stuff. So that's dope too.
So that's kind of my thing.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you letting us do this, Bo.
Love you, Bubba.
I love you too, man. Chat Arms TV. We're going to stay tuned, man. Jelly's got a lot of stuff in the works, and y'all already know he's going to be in a city near you, I'm sure. Yeah, the tour is selling out. We've added, I think, 12 dates. 5 of them were in markets that we'd already sold out, so we're doing 2 nights. Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's be a lot of information coming out here in the next week or 2. But there's a lot of cities that we'll be doing 2 shows in.
Yeah, and you'll be in Nashville in September, right?
Sold out at the Ryman, but we got something big planned for Nashville after that. So yeah, trust me, it's all going to work itself out. Also, stay tuned to Chat Arms TV, because right after this interview, me and Chad are going to go in and take a shot of tequila. It worked out so well last time. We're going to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So we might end up coming back in here drunk in 15 minutes and redoing the whole interview lit. And both of us just in here and see how that works.